Okay, so this week we are starting with adding in something called the standard algorithm, our math program calls it. So the standard algorithm just means this kind of standard form of adding numbers that most people are used to. So what I was doing today in class was having them put these into a place value chart so they would understand that when they're carrying numbers and when they're borrowing numbers from different columns, that actually something is happening with the numbers, that it's not just a magic rule of carrying the one. So, okay, so if I were to look at my ones column of these two numbers that I'm adding, 827,909 and 42,989. And they don't have to do the chart once they start to get used to it, but I just wanted to use it just so they would start to see. So if I have my 9 and my 9, that means that I have 18 ones. All right, so I drew my 18 ones. And then over here, I have my 0, my 8, and my tens column. So I have 8 tens. Now over in my hundreds, I have 2 nines again, so that's going to be 18. And then over in my thousands, I have 7 and 2, so that ends up being 9. And then 10,000s, I have 2 and 4, which ends up being 6. And then in my 100,000s, all I have is an 8 with like an invisible 0 underneath it. Okay, so now I'm going to start adding these together now that I have represented all of these in this chart. So in my ones, I end up with an 18, and an 18 isn't going to fit right under there. So I can take 10 of those, and I can cash them in for 110 over here. And then what I have left is 8. When I go over to my tens, now I just went from having 8 to now I have my new 9. So I can just record my 9 under there because that will fit. So if they were to do it in the standard form, they would just carry that, put an 8, and then end up with a 9. So on the hundreds, I have 2 nines again, so I have an 18, and 18 won't fit under there, so we need to carry 10 of those over to the thousands. So 10 of those over to the thousands to cash it in for 1,000, and I end up with 8 again. And if I were to do it over here, I would carry one of those over to the thousands and end up with 8 down here. In the thousands place, I had my 7 and my 2, which made a 9. But now with that extra one, I now have a 10. So a 10's not going to fit. So I'm going to take all 10 of those, and I'm going to cash those in for 110,000 over here. So I end up with nothing. There is nothing left over. Just as if I did it here, I would end up with that 0, and then I would have it cashed over here. Now in my 10,000s, I have that extra one, so now I have 7 in my 10,000s, just as I have it right here in my standard form. If I go over to my 100,000s, I had nothing carried over, so if I count them up, I still have 8. So just as if I were adding it here, I would have 8 right here. And then remember to always count 1, 2, 3, comma, to put in your answer. Okay, so that's the addition one. Now,